A warm welcome to Big Talk, live from the nation's capital. My name is Idikan Michael. A pleasure to have you tonight to join us on the show. But let's turn our attention again to Plateau State. Governor Caleb Mutfwang has announced a ban on night grazing and restricted the use of motorcycle across the state following the incessant attacks. Recall that 50 people were reportedly killed after gunmen invaded a community Kimpal village in Basalago government area. Take a listen to the broadcast by the governor earlier today.
To state, as the sacred month of Ramadan draws to a close, I extend my warmest greetings and heartfelt best wishes to you all on behalf of the government and the peace-loving people of Plateau State. I am hopeful that this season of sacrifice and self-denial has imparted invaluable lessons, shaping our character and strengthening our faith. Indeed, Ramadan is a time for deep reflection, spiritual renewal, and moral fortification. It is a period when our hearts are softened, our generosity knows no bounds, and our acts of kindness illuminate the path for those in need. Through our fasting and prayers, we have demonstrated that true wealth lies not in material possessions, but in the compassion we extend to others. The observance of the 2025 Ramadan fast carries a profound significance for us as a people. It is a divine opportunity to seek God's guidance for our leaders, that they may govern with wisdom, justice, and a deep sense of responsibility. As we have embarked on this noble spiritual journey, I urge us all to sustain the spirit of prayer and intercession for the continued peace and prosperity of Plateau State. We must shun greed and ostentatious living while many of our people struggle in hardship. A society thrives when its privileged few extend a helping hand to those in need. Even as we express gratitude for the strides we have made as a government, I seize this moment to reaffirm my unwavering commitment to the welfare of all Plateau citizens. Rest assured that my administration remains resolute in addressing governance challenges, strengthening security, and tackling economic hardships with steadfast determination across all sectors. I am particularly pleased that Plateau State is fast reclaiming its reputation as a beacon of peace and a hope for tourism. The time has come, and the time is now, for us to unite in purpose, speak with one voice, and embark on a transformative journey toward the plateau of our dreams. As we conclude this sacred season, I pray that the blessings of Ramadan remain with us, guiding our actions and inspiring us to live in harmony and service to one another.
Fortunate one, and leading to the given ban on night grazing, which is prohibited, and the transportation of cattle from 7 p.m. has been banned. Motorcycle movement is restricted from 7 p.m. to 6 a.m. And all the hospitals in affected areas will provide free medical care to victims, and relief materials are already on their way. That was part of the broadcast of the governor, just because of the sad situation, and our hearts really goes out to the people of the Plateau State and the community involved. But tonight, everyone, of course, we'll be looking at the political development in the country. I got a chieftain of the APC, a man who understands the peculiarity of all of these, politics of 2027, the formation, the early formation of APC in 2013. There are a lot of persons that will look at even the coming together of those politicians to form these APC. A lot of persons have asked questions about 10 years after the line, what does it look like? Some members who did that coalition are now angry threatening that they are pulling out of APC, and that has continued to draw a lot of attention. And tonight, I'm being joined by Chief Okio Bonobula, who is the lawyer, writer, public analyst, and politician. He has served as a senior special assistant to President Buhari on prosecution, also being the chairman of the Special Presidential Investigation Panel for the Recovery of Public Property. Chief, thanks so much for joining us on the show tonight.
Thank you.
Let's begin with, there is a recent statement, the controversies about CPC. And I understand you were part of those who came together to merge just to have APC today. But some CPC members who joined APC are saying that this is not what we agreed. The coming together of CPC to merge with LC and another political parties who have APC has not really meant well for them. What do you have to say about those members that are angry?
I don't think they know what they are talking about, or they are just playing cheap politics, because some of them are the greatest beneficiaries. They agree, all of them are great beneficiaries of the merger. So we can mention them. Most of them were ministers in the past government of President Buhari. One of them was the governor for 8 years in Kaduna State. How can he say that he didn't benefit from CPC? We benefited greatly from CPC. Every, all members of CPC, we cannot say there's CPC. CPC is no more, because CPC was dissolved after the merger. But there's what we call tendency. There's CPC tendency in APC. There are about 4 blocks in APC.
Which are?
Yes. CPC block, ACF block, AMPP block, and then ABGA. ABGA was part of the merger, the faction that, Governor Okorocha was in charge of that faction of ABGA that merged into with other political parties to form APC. And there's another smaller party, DPP, Democratic Party, People's Party. Also, that's a block. So we have about 5 blocks or so.
So all these people came together. It wasn't just a one-man show at the end of the day.
It wasn't a one-man show. The merger took place after several months of negotiations. We were meeting in the house of Chief Tommy Kimi in Abuja from about February 2013 to about June 2013. And then INEC registered the party on the 31st of August 2013. And there is one misconception I want to correct today. People like Atiku Abubakar were not part of the merger. He joined the party at about May 2014, almost 10
Before
months.
the election.
Yes, almost 10 months after the APC was registered. Kwankwaso too, Bukola Saraki, Rotimi Amechi, all of them joined APC about May 2014. But the party was registered, as I said before, 13th of July 2013.
So if you look at those aggrieved members who are saying that this is not the APC of our dream. I will take, for instance, former governor of Kaduna State, Nasir El-Rufai. He has come out to say, this is not why we founded APC. For many instances, when you were agitating or the coming together of those politicians was the fact that they saw Goodluck Jonathan government not workable for Nigeria, and that was the reason why you came together to form that bloc, just to be able to get Jonathan out of Aso Rock. There are a lot of persons that will say that means they had a vision, they had a dream, they had a commitment. That's what El-Rufai somehow is saying.
It's not correct. We did not form APC just to remove Jonathan. PDP became very strong, and PDP was endangering democracy because it was so strong, and the opposition parties were nowhere. So we said, look, it is not good for Nigeria to drift into a one-party state if we do not form a broad national progressive party. There is a tendency that Nigeria may turn into a one-party system. So if El-Rufai is saying that APC was formed solely to remove Jonathan, it's not correct.
So it wasn't just coming together politicians to grab power,
No,
because
no.
some person are saying that years after, it looks that was
We
the
wanted an
intention.
alternative platform. There was no alternative. And you know, democracy is all about alternatives, freedom of choice. If we don't have an alternative, if we continue to have a dominant one party that is so big, so dominant, winning all the elections, dominating the National Assembly, dominating the State Assembly, dominating the executive branch of government, it will not go well for Nigeria.
So do you feel the choice of APC in 2015 was a good choice for Nigeria?
Fantastic, because we wanted an alternative, and PDP was not giving us what Nigerians wanted. So we even in terms of conduct of elections, PDP was not doing very well.
Many Nigerians will disagree with you that things hasn't gotten better. Almost 10 years of APC. There are a lot of persons that are even calling back on former President Goodluck Jonathan to return again for 2027.
We are in a democracy. There's freedom of opinion. People who have, in a mosaic, complex country like Nigeria, with multiplicities of diversity, of people, opinions, multicultural, multi-religious, multi-ethnic. People will have diverse opinions. So those who say
But if the majority are saying so, it means
not
that...
majority. How do you arrive at that perimeter? What are the indices you used to arrive at that conclusion? So
All right. Because a lot of persons are worried that if all of those CPC members pull out today from APC, that it may be a worrisome situation for APC ahead of the 2027.
A handful of them. I've mentioned them. They were some ministers in the government of President Muhammadu Buhari.
So their anger today is sparked by what?
It's misplaced because some of them are out of government for the first time in 8 years.
Have they been a beneficiary of the system? Have they been the ones being a beneficiary of the system?
In a country of 230 million people, and you are appointed a minister, is that not a good thing? And you become a governor for 8 years. A population of 230 million. How many ministers do you have? How many governors do you have? 36 governors. Ministers at most 42. So if you are appointed a minister in a country of 230 million people, you have done very well. So I don't expect them to be talking. I don't expect them to be protesting. Otherwise, who will say that they are selfish people?
Do you feel so? Because
they
some of them will say they contributed immensely to
what all of us contributed
President Tinubu emerging as a president.
All of us contributed. All members of APC, they contributed. They can't single themselves out as the only people who contributed. All members of APC contributed one way or the other.
All right, because a situation where it looks at some part of the North are now speaking and saying, the government of President Bola Tinubu is, appointing more of Southwest into key position in this country. I don't know if you have listened to Ndume, Senator Ali Ndume.
I don't agree with him. He is merely politicking.
That is about Yoruba everywhere, and mostly Southwest in the key positions in this country.
I don't agree with that.
Because if you say APC was for national purpose, national unity, there should have been this component of having appointment across board in this country for his administration.
I don't agree with them. That narrative is being sold by those people who are disgruntled. There's APC members who are disgruntled. The Southwest is not in control of the government. It's wrong. Look at the statistics or the figures from the Federal Character Commission and from the presidency. It shows the appointment so far made by President Tinubu shows that 55% of the appointments are people from the 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Authority, Abuja. 55. And the people appointed from southern Nigeria constitute 45%. So if you 55 and 45, the difference is 10%. And know that this country is in two blocks. before the amalgamation of Nigeria on 14th January 1914, we had a country known as the Protectorate of Northern Nigeria. That Protectorate of Northern Nigeria is the present 19 northern states and the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. We also had the colony of Lagos, which was founded in 1861. And then lastly, we had the Protectorate of Southern Nigeria, which is the present 17 southern states, excluding Lagos, because Lagos was itself a colony. So all these entities, these three entities, were merged in 1914 to form the Federation of Nigeria. So everything is always divided along that lines. Even though we have now, the 19 northern states have three geopolitical zones: northwest, northeast, north central. And there's 17 southern states are also in three zones: southwest, south-south, and southeast. So if the president has taken all these factors into consideration, geographical spread, population, land mass, and so forth and so on, and he has given 55%, because the northern states have more population, I'm sure that is why the president has given them 55%, and then the southern states 45%. Is that not enough? So why are they saying that the southwest people are predominant? It's not true. Every state has a minister, and some states have two ministers. We have permanent secretaries. We have ambassadors are going to be appointed. And when we are talking about government in Nigeria, it is not only about the executive branch of government. We have three branches of government. We have the judiciary, we have the legislature, we have the executive. The legislature in Nigeria at the national level is made up of the National Assembly, which is the Senate and the House of Representatives. The president of the Senate is from the South-South, the 6 South-South states: Akwa Ibom, Cross River, Edo, Delta, Bayelsa, and Rivers State. Then the deputy Senate president is from Kano, which is northwest. Kebbi, Zamfara, Kaduna, Kano, what again? Katsina, Kaduna. These are all the northwest states. Then if you go to the House of Reps, the speaker is from northwest. He's from Kaduna State. The deputy speaker is from southeast. Go to the judiciary, another branch of government. The Chief Justice of Nigeria is from southwest. By virtue of the fact that she was the most senior judge in the Supreme Court, that was why she was appointed. That is the tradition.
So you feel that the appointment or political calculation of this presidency has touched all the geopolitical zones we have in this country? So those arguments of Senator Lindome and others are not
people they want to they want to model the field. They want to
do you feel that was a political move?
Yes, because they want to get back at the government for one reason or the other, because they are aggrieved or they are nursing grievances. So they want to call a dog a bad name in order to hang it. That's what they are doing.
Do you feel that, I mean, because there are a lot of conversation about coalition and merger from opposition. I don't know, I mean, SDP El-Rufai did not just leave APC. He went to SDP and he has already extended hands to other, opposition leaders to join him in SDP.
Nobody has joined him.
Well, a lot of people are afraid that if that coalition works, they might possibly unseat President Tinubu.
Nobody has joined him. Even then, he's having issues with SDP. The Kaduna SDP came out to say that we don't know you. The local government said we don't know you. The ward chapter said we don't know you. That if you want to join SDP, you have to come and go to your ward and register as an SDP member. And since he left, nobody has joined him. Atiku Abubakar, you heard what PDP said. The governor said, look, we don't know anything about coalition. Labour Party is in crisis. They have four factions. So this coalition they are talking about is a misconception. You cannot have coalition in a presidential system of government. Coalition is normally feasible in a parliamentary system of government. You know, in a parliamentary system of government, the party that commands the highest number of seats in the parliament is normally the party that will be invited to come and form government. So if you want to be prime minister, typically in a parliamentary system of government, you have to be the head of your party. So if your party wins majority of the seats in the parliament, they will invite you to come and form government. And then if your party is not strong enough to win majority of the seats to enable you form government, all the parties that won seats will come together and form a coalition government. It happened in Nigeria in 1959. The coalition government was formed between Northern People's Congress and National Convention for Nigerian Citizens and Cameroon, NCNC. They formed the coalition government that led to the appointment of Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa as Prime Minister.
All right, Chief. I don't know if on Friday you witnessed what happened. We saw opposition, some key opposition leaders visiting the former President Muhammadu Buhari, and later on, APC chairman also led a delegation to visit the former President Buhari. There are a lot of persons that are concerned. Does it look that they might have a tendency that the former President Buhari may defect from APC? And does that visit also give strength to opposition? Because the opposition, first paid him that visit, and a lot of persons are reading a lot of political meaning to that visit to the former president.
Former President Buhari is a very consistent person. He is a man who has integrity, who has character. He has never indulged in political prostitution. I know his political antecedents very well. He came into politics in 2002 under the platform of the defunct ANPP. And he got the presidential ticket and he contested. He lost to President Obasanjo. In 2007, he contested again against President Umar Musa Yar'Adua, and he lost. Then in 2011, we perceived the supporters all over the country, they have this perception that ANPP will not want to give him ticket for the third time. What we did was to, float a political association known as Congress of Progressive Change. And Congress for Progressive Change was registered by INEC in December 2010. And thereafter, all the supporters of former President Buhari who were in ANPP, they resigned from ANPP en masse, including himself, to join CPC. So, and then in 2013, he had an agreement with President Bola Tinubu. They agreed or that they should discuss for measure of their political platforms. ASACN, which was the party of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and CPC, which was the party of Muhammadu Buhari, they agreed that they should discuss. There should be a discussion towards merging. I was a secretary and member of CPC Merger Committee, and our chairman was late Senator Garuba Mohammed Gadi from Bauchi State. He was the chairman of that committee, and the president inaugurated us, former President Muhammadu Buhari, on the 16th of January 2013, and mandated us go and discuss with the party of Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, ACN. And he told us not to discuss with the ANPP. He didn't trust the ANPP. But when we went for our first meeting in the house of Tom Ikimi, who was the chairman of ACN Merger Committee, the ACN Major Committee, they told us that we have to allow ANPP to be part of the major talk. We were reluctant because our leader has told us not to discuss with ANPP. They didn't trust ANPP. But we saw it as maybe a trap that by ACN, that if we do not accept, they will back out of the major talk. And they will now say that we are too inflexible, or we didn't want to merge with other political associations or parties. So we agreed. We say, okay, we have accepted their proposal. And then thereafter, the leader of the major committee, of ZPC major committee, and some of us were sent to Kaduna to go and see General Muhammadu Buhari. We went and told him that when we went for our first meeting, the ACN delegation is insisting that ANPP must join the major talk. And we have accepted. It's okay, very well, that's okay. I'm fine. That is how ANPP came into the major talk. So, we are not seeing all that, and these people are just making noise that they want to merge, they want to form coalition. What have they put in place to form, a merger, to come together? Because the fourth I expect them to have done was to start setting up major committees. Labour Party will set up a major committee, PDP will set up a major committee, maybe NNPP will set up a major committee. All the parties that are interested in coming together will form major committees. And the major committees now will now meet, maybe form an umbrella major committee, which will be made up of all the major committee of the parties that want to emerge. We have not seen that. Then they will sit down and discuss, adopt a logo, write a constitution, and a manifesto and program, and agree that at the end of the day, all the parties will be dissolved. They will not set up national conventions because the major must be approved by the national convention of the party that wants to emerge. The national working committees, the national executive committees of all the parties that want to merge will have to agree. Then they will sign a single document. So we have agreed that all our parties shall be dissolved, and will collapse all our structures into one party or an association. And then they will submit the name of that association. They will show evidence that they have branches all over the country. They must adopt a flag, a logo, symbol, and so forth and so on. And then a constitution. And then apply to INEC for registration of the political association they have formed. Then INEC will register that political association into a political party. Now, after registration of the association to a political party, the next thing is to start establishing structures and selling this party to Nigerians so that they will capture the consciousness of Nigerians and then prepare for the elections. We have not seen all that. All these processes I've mentioned is what we went through, and it will take a long time. So this is 2005. 25. Next month, it will make second anniversary of the coming into power of President Tinubu.
2 years.
And you say you want to merge, you say you want to form a coalition, then you have not done anything, nothing. Just only what we hear is press releases, IPIN, in the media, on the social media. So so much noise, but nothing is on ground. So I don't think they want to emerge because all of them are very ambitious people. Atiku wants to be president, P2B wants to be president, Kwankwaso wants to be president. So maybe Rufai wants to be president. And at the end of the day, what have they done to show Nigerians that they want to merge?
All right. So, if we have a northern presidency, if opposition of any of the political party have a candidate from the north, and APC has already said Bola Ahmed Tinubu will still return their ticket for APC, do you feel that there are chances of affecting APC at that election?
Well, there's an agreement that the presidency should rotate. That is the truth of the matter.
So if people are saying nothing presidency now,
No, it is wrong. The presidency for 8 years must be from the South. And just like Buhari did 8 years, and nobody challenged him. Okay? Even those who challenged him, who were from the South, they didn't have any chance. We didn't reckon with them. Because there's this agreement unwritten that President Muhammadu Buhari will do 8 years.
well, it's not known to the constitution. That arrangement
Well, it
is
is
not
not
known to
known
our
to the
constitution.
constitution, but it's the parties can negotiate, okay, by agreement, by consensus.
So if the parties can agree that those that possibly may also look at the fact that Goodluck Jonathan, as a Southerner, wasn't able to complete his 8 years when APC
Well, because
took power from him.
Yeah, one of the reasons why he lost that election of 2015, it was because he was not supposed to look for another tenure after taking 5 years or 4 years that were the remainder of
Yar'Adua, late Yar'Adua.
Yar'Adua. So because the presidency was zoned to the north, Jonathan was supposed to step aside after the tenure of Yar'Adua expired. That tenure expired on the 29th of May 2015. The person that was supposed to take
On an election.
an election, through election, supposed to be Northerner.
Okay.
That is why some Northerners were not happy that you are taking our tenure. You are taking our tenure.
So it's fair to say that APC through Buhari also truncated that arrangement. So because if you go by that agreement, it means that Buhari would have done 4 years and for power to go back to the South.
No. Where that was PDP. We are in APC. APC was founded in 2013. PDP was founded in 1999. And the first president was Obasanjo, Olusegun Obasanjo, who was president from 1999 to 2007 from the South. So the person who was supposed to be president between 2007 and 2015, Northerner. But Yar'Adua died, the vice president took over. He was not supposed to contest, as I said, when he knows that the tenure of the North was still on. That tenure would have been there from maybe 2015 to 2019. And he contested and he lost. That is why Buhari took over 2015 to 2023. And that is why some Southerners, people like Wike, were saying that Atiku Abubakar shouldn't have been the candidate for 2023 general election. And that is what is responsible for the crisis in PDP. Because even in the APC constitution, there is no provision for rotational presidency.
It is a conventional way of doing
It's
things.
usually convention, agreement, tacit agreement. But in the PDP constitution, there is provision for rotation. And Atiku refused to obey that rotation. And his argument was that Jonathan took over the presidency after Yar'Adua died. That was Atiku's argument.
All right. A lot been to learn from all of that history you've given us, but let's get back to Nigeria. What matters to Nigerians now is the economic situation that we found ourselves in the country. I understand as at the time, you also was trying to see how you can tackle corruption in the country, see how you can get things right, in this country. But a lot of persons that are really bothered about the policy of this government or the policy of the former government. The APC will tell you, or some government spokesmen will tell you that they inherited an economy that wasn't really too good. So this government is trying to fix all of those things. What matters to Nigerians is the life, because it is a responsibility of every government to give good lives, protect citizens, as one of the essence of why we have government. And if all of these things are not guaranteed, people are now questioning the essence of having government in place. Are you bothered about that concern that if this economic situation is not well addressed, it may have a chances. It may have effect. It may affect the party in 2027 politics. Because even the president has said, if under 4 years I'm unable to do things, I'm unable to change whatever I needed to change, you may not. You may take back your vote in 2027.
Well, this government has done well. Even the APC government.
You feel so?
Yes.
Is it government of Tinubu or government of Buhari?
Both. Both governments have done well. Look, this country has been in trouble for a long time. This government, this country has been paying subsidy on petroleum products for over 60-something years, which is not supposed to be the case. This government of Nigeria has been regulating our currency. The Nigerian government was spending a lot of money to shore up the national currency, to stabilize the national currency. Without allowing the national currency to be shaped and influenced by economic forces. We did that for a long time, to the extent that all our money was being used to subsidize petroleum, which at the end of the day, the common man didn't feel anything. Those who were being paid for subsidy, the barons who were importing oil into the country, and they were being paid subsidies. Not even the poor people who were buying fuel at a very expensive rate. So the withdrawal of subsidy was a good thing. And we can see that the price of petrol
It's fluctuating.
Yeah, it's fluctuating. It's being subject to the forces of demand and supply. And it will stabilize.
Because some of the concern of
But government has realized a lot of money. And
where are the money going to?
Oh,
these are what the people are not asking.
The states are being paid.
Is it a good choice to channel the money to the state?
No.
By all indices of understanding what government means in the state.
The mode of sharing in a federation like Nigeria, the taxes and other revenues earned by the federal government is put into a common pool. And because we have 3 tiers of government, every tier of government will be paid an allocation. The federal government will normally take the lion's share, 50-something%, the states and the local governments. And every month that is being done, so that every part of the country will be benefit from the national revenue.
But people are not seeing the impact of those savings from
Well,
subsidy.
then they ask their governors.
To their governors.
The governors, the revenue allocation has increased. I heard last week the chairman of the Progressive Governors Forum, Chief Opu Uzodimma, the governor of Imo State, he was saying how much he is collecting from Imo State, that he has not borrowed money. Previously, the governors were indebted. Every state, they were borrowing money. They need to pay salary. He said he has not borrowed anything since President Tinubu became president and the subsidy was withdrawn. So all the governors are receiving a lot of money. But see, the issue is that everybody is talking about federal government. The state governments are not accountable. And nobody is putting pressure on them. The body that is supposed to be a constitutional watchdog to ensure that there is accountability, there's transparency on expenditure of money, the state assemblies. The state assemblies are completely emasculated by the governors. The governors are in charge. They remote control the House of Assembly. So there's no accountability in the states. So that is why people are not feeling the impact of all the huge revenues that has been given to the states. For instance, look at the South states. All the South, apart from Cross River, maybe Edo, Delta, Akwa Ibom, Bayelsa, they are earning so much money. And there's nothing to justify the expenditure of that money. But in the federal government, at the federal level, there is accountability. There is also a lot of pressure. People criticize the president.
Because they took the policy of, I mean, they took the decision of removing subsidy and floating the naira. This policy was taken by the federal government and not the state. Because if you go by the, I mean, the allocation to the state, some state will tell you because of inflation, we are buying, I mean, the quantity and the prices of what we are getting because of inflation is higher. So that also makes it to suffer.
The federal government is the regulator of the economy. The federal government shapes the economy, the agenda. It is not the states. But that is not an excuse. Even though there's inflation, it's not peculiar to Nigeria. The inflation in Argentina is 140%. And that was the same country, people like Peter Obi and Abubakar Atiku were saying that Nigeria would have followed the economic model of Argentina. Today, Argentina has crashed to the extent that the IMF has to give out $18 billion to bail Argentina out.
So Chief, are you saying that this model of economy set by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu administration will get Nigeria better?
Yes, I am very, very certain. And we have started saying the signs. We are exporting more. We are, the straight surplus and so forth and so on. What we didn't see for so many years. So there are signs that the current economic policy will bail Nigeria out of its economic predicament.
All right. I mean, Chief, you happen to come from the south. There is a lot of problem coming from Rivers State. We saw a lot of persons who are protesting that the appointment of the sole administrator at a time, of our democracy, 26 years of practicing democracy, and we are inviting the military back to democracy, is not going down well. As a chieftain, as one who has understand the journey of this democracy, do you feel that intervention of the president was on the right steps?
It was. And historically, we have always had state of emergencies. The first state of emergency in Nigeria was declared in 1964. And what happened, the scenario of what played out in 1964 in western region of Nigeria is similar to what played out in Rivers State that led to the declaration of a state of emergency. When that crisis started, I wrote an article and said that, look, all the people who are involved in that crisis that was simmering, that they should learn from the historical experience of 1964. What happened in 1964? The Action Group was a party in power, and the leader of that party was Chief Obafemi Awolowo. The premier was Chief Akintola, and there was an disagreement between Chief Akintola and Chief Obafemi Awolowo over whether or not they should support the government at the center. The government at the center was headed by Sir Abubakar Tafawa Balewa. Chief Awolowo was the leader of opposition in the federal parliament. So he was against any form of engagement, any form of interaction or coalition with MPC. Chief Akintola was premier and also the deputy leader of Action Group. He was disposed to aligning the western region with the central government. So that disagreement led to a fight in the Western Nigeria House of Assembly in 1964. And the federal government intervened and declared a state of emergency in the Western region to prevent a breakdown of law and order, and appointed a sole administrator.
So this is a repetition of
yes.
that event.
And in also Obasanjo's period, we saw him, he also declared emergency in, I think, Plateau State, I think in Ekiti State, and suspended the governors. And then Jonathan too, also we had the emergency were declared in some local government areas in, Western Adamawa State and Borno at the height of the Boko Haram crisis. What does the Constitution say? The Constitution says if there is an apparent breakdown of law and order, or if the country is at war, or if there's an emergency, maybe natural disaster, and the president feels that to restore law and order an emergency has to be declared, then he has to. You remember the Supreme Court came out in a judgment about Rivers State. The Supreme Court said there was no government in Rivers State because the governor refused to allow the House of Assembly to operate. The governor made sure that the House of Assembly was shut down.
Because they defected. I mean,
The governor also allowed only 4 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly out of a House of 33 members. The quorum is 1/3. 1/3 of 33 is what? Simple arithmetic. 1/3 of 33 is about 11 or so. So at least for the House to form a quorum, 11 members have to sit. For them to pass an appropriation law, 2/3 of 33.
But how do you want the governor to do that?
It's about 24.
It was a litigation. It was, I mean, it was a legal issues of defection as to
You
the
don't take
statutes
laws
of the
into
House
your
of Assembly.
hands. Before you can leave your party that sponsored the election to another party, if there is a crisis in your party, you can leave, and your seat will not be vacated. So when 27 members of the Rivers State House of Assembly defected, what the governor was supposed to do was to go to court, or the PDP. You don't take laws into your hands. You don't ask the assembly that was made up of only 4 members to vacate the seats of 27 people. So that was the lack of proper management of that crisis snowballed into a bigger crisis that shut down the government of Rivers State, because the government is made up of 3 branches: the legislature, the executive, and the judiciary. So the Supreme Court said, look, the government of Rivers State is shut down because all the other branches were not working.
So, I mean, in a fast forward to all of this, you've seen what the administrator has done, getting almost a month or thereabout. A lot of persons are bothered about suspending some persons, some structures, making appointment of sole administrators in the local government, budgets of the government, expenditures, and all of these appropriation matters. Some person are saying if this is what the intention of the president to intervene in Rivers State, is that a way to resolve the issue? Because the essence why he said was, I'm doing this to bring peace and to see how peace can be broken in the next 6 months. But the way the administrator is doing it,
if an emergency is declared, that means the constitution is suspended. The operation of the constitution is suspended.
Is that what it means?
Yes.
You're a lawyer.
Yes, because what is the meaning of emergency? Martial law, that no constitution will operate during that period of suspension. So that is the truth of the matter. So the administrator is given emergency powers. No, there is no parliament to checkmate him, to scrutinize all his policies or appointments. So he's an administrator, a dictator, because the area Rivers State is under emergency law.
All right. I mean, good to know about that. But as we begin to wrap up, how do you feel these works of 2027 may look like? What may be the factors that may determine 2027 politics? Peter Obi of Southeast, if he happens to be on the ballot again, and as you said, you have advocating that the presidency must remain in the South for the next 4 years to go. So there are a lot of persons that may look at, if they must have an alternative, would Peter Obi of the Southeast be a better alternative, or you feel that there's a need to continue with President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for 2027 as we wrap up?
Well, any party that wins, but from every indication, it appears that President Tinubu may coast home to victory, because the parties are not organized. I have talked about the Labour Party. The Labour Party is in 4 factions.
What if Obi is back to PDP?
Pardon?
What if he leaves
let's
Party
see.
and
If he
return back
goes,
to
is
his
PDP one, PDP is in factions. And you heard the governor of Akwa Ibom State saying that he has endorsed President Tinubu. And I can tell you that so many governors in PDP will endorse President Bola Ahmed Tinubu for
Is
2027.
the crisis in the opposition sponsored by your party?
It's not true.
But a lot of persons
It
that
is
feel
the-
that
I have told you what
the
triggered-
party is using all the instruments.
No, I will even
and
lay the blame
powers
on Atiku.
to destabilize
If
political
Atiku
parties.
is a statesman, a former vice president for 8 years, and if he's a nationalist, he has benefited so much from this country. He was in the customs service, and he became a very senior, person, senior personality in the customs. And he was one of the founders of PDP. And as I said, the PDP constitution has provision for rotation between north and south. Why is he insisting that he must run when it is the turn of southern Nigeria under PDP? That is one of the crises. That is what is promoting foiling the crisis.
Do you
in
feel there's a
PDP.
need for Atiku to back down for 2027?
Exactly. Because it's not the turn of the north in PDP. So if he's a nationalist, he should step down and allow gladiators on the south. Maybe they will contest against President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, and then we'll see.
Where Governor Makinde Sen is also qualified to be president.
He is qualified. What is the requirement to be president? You must be sponsored by the political party. You must be about 35 years, 40 years old.
Right.
And that school starts and so forth and so on. Those are the requirements to be president.
Chief Obla, a lot to have talked about, but because of time, we appreciate you for joining us on the show tonight. Chief Obla was the chairman of Special Presidential Investigation Panel for Recovery of Public Property from 2017 to August 2019. He was also special assistant to the Honorable Attorney General and Minister for Justice from November 2015 to April 2016. An integral member of the defunct CPC that merged to have APC today. A lot of things that we would have actually extracted, but we do hope to have you again join us on the show. Thanks so much for joining us on the program tonight. Everyone, that's why we'll wrap it up on Big Talk tonight. We'll continue to look at development in the nations. A consensus goes out to the people of Plateau State over the sad situation. Do well to continue to stay with us here on Global TV. My name is Edika Michael. Bye-bye for now.